This is Katrin with Disability Rights New York. Welcome to our podcast, Empire State of Rights, where we bring you information on the most relevant topics regarding disability rights and advocacy. Welcome back from our brief break as we start our 7th season. Today, we welcome DRNY's Executive Director, Tim Clune, to discuss DRNY's goals for the upcoming year. Tim, how are you?
I'm great. Hi, Katrin. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. It seems like we just talked just minutes ago.
Time is flying, so I don't know what to make of it. I feel like I was just here.
Me as well. And so let's start off with giving our descriptions or self-descriptions for our audience. I am a white woman in my early 50s. I have brown wavy hair. I have a red shirt on today, and I have light eyes.
So I am a white male in my early 60s. I have silver hair with glasses and brown eyes, and I have a green Henley button-down shirt.
Thank you so much for that. So it's a new year. I cannot believe that it is 2024. We have so much to look forward to. I feel like we do every year. We start off January, and I think of all the things that we think we know about that are going to happen, and then so much more ends up happening. So let's talk about some of the news to be out on the lookout for from DRNY. We have a lot of work that we do here at DRNY. So Tim, let's talk about the upcoming year.
Sure. Well, first, I want to congratulate you and Grace Combs for putting this together, and here we are in our 7th season. I remember the first season when you had to drag me in here, kicking and screaming. But I think, at the end of the day, your vision for all of this was really, really spot on. So thank you for that. So yes, this coming year, we have many things that we are going to be dealing with. Always comes back to access for us, Katrin. And this year will be no different. And our focus will be on 2 rather large cases. One is against the city of Troy, and the other is against a facility in the Bronx, and it's about sidewalk access, and it is whether the sidewalks are blocked by vehicles or they are blocked by physical structural problems. So in the city of Troy, the sidewalks were so dangerous that our clients had to negotiate and navigate around them, sometimes having to go into the street to go from one block to the next because the sidewalk was so broken up that they couldn't use their wheelchairs or their assisted walking devices to travel from point A to point B. Our clients were also injured while they were trying to ambulate from one point to the other. This case is going to be argued in the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, so I am hopeful that it will, like last year, we had a reversal in the Second Circuit, that we continue that streak there because it's the right decision. Sidewalk access is critical to our clients who use wheelchairs, and also, any kind of other mobility device. Also, any parent that may be pushing a stroller will benefit from this as well as anybody who is coming from a grocery store and pulling a cart, bringing their groceries home. Access is for everyone.
It really is. And to have this case really looking at sidewalks, there are times where I've been with people where they see someone who is using a wheelchair or a mobility device in the street, and there's this idea that it's their choice to go into the street when really there's no other place for that person to use or to get to where they need to go to because the sidewalks are in such terrible shape. So, and it's so dangerous to be in the road for everyone. So, and looking forward to seeing what happens with this case. And is there another one that we're talking about, that we started talking about when it comes to sidewalks?
So in the Bronx, around a healthcare facility, the municipality NYPD was allowing ambulances, police cars, other cars to park on the sidewalk, effectively blocking any type of egress from one part or access from one part of the street to the other. And this had the effect of preventing our clients from getting to necessary medical appointments. So that case is pending. It is not in the appellate court yet, but the sidewalk case in Troy that is going to the Second Circuit will certainly have impact on that case, as well as cases around the country. So it is an important thing to watch. So that's one area that we are working under.
And we will drop the press releases in the notes for the podcast on those two cases, so people can take a look and see the work on that, because it really is extraordinary work. So thank you for talking about those, Tim.
Absolutely. So another area that we have spent a considerable amount of time, because it is a considerable issue that we want to address. New York State has one of the most archaic guardianship statutes in the world. And what guardianship does is, upon a finding by a court that someone is incapable of handling their affairs, someone else is appointed to make the decisions for them. So for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, Article 17A of the Circuit Court Procedures Act governs this. In essence, the way the law currently exists and applied, and I won't go into all of the nitty-gritty details here, but upon the filing of a document that says an individual is incapable of caring for themselves, they can have all of their rights taken away from them and vested with someone else. What we've been doing over the years is, in a combination of being contacted by clients as well as some of the courts, requesting our assistance to represent individuals who are seeking to get out of guardianships. Over the years, we have handled dozens of these, and our success rate is 100%. So that tells us a few things. One, that our staff that are handling these cases are fantastic lawyers, but it also highlights that those people should never have been under guardianship in the first place. There may have been a time where there was nothing else available, but we know better. And as we move forward as a society, as we learn, we need to do better. And this is one area that we are committed to, and that we will continue to address, both in individual cases, on a systemic level, and also, in the electoral process.
That's really incredible, Tim. Thank you so much for letting us know about that. And we'll put some resources in the notes on that as well, if people want to read more about it. What else can we look forward to hearing about in 2024?
So as everyone knows, 2024 is an election year. Every year is an election year, but this is an election year that covers many, many offices, including the president. What we have said in the past is, if you can't get in, you can't vote. It is a pretty straightforward, simple message that it is impossible to misinterpret. But as every year we go through the process prior to elections of poll site surveys to ensure that people who need access can get in, and we continually find that polling sites are not accessible to our clients. And last year, we worked with the Brennan Center and issued a report that identified many inaccessible polling places. But what was disturbing about it is that they were very, very easy fixes to those. So it will be one of our priorities this year to ensure that polling places are accessible so that our clients can get in and they can vote.
It's really amazing, having gone on a couple of poll site surveys since I've been here. The way that our teams go in and really go off the list of things that really are, as you said, some easy fixes. However, these are things that are keeping people from voting. If you can't get in, you can't vote. And it's just, it's so important that we see this report and the poll site surveys that we do. So I'm excited to see what the PAVA team does this year, not just the poll site surveys, but all the information that they put out every year for voting and accessibility and when all of the dates are to register if you need to. And we will drop those resources in the notes as well. There are so many different resources that we have when it comes to voting. That's something that I find really exceptional as well, Tim. The way that we really look at voting and its importance, especially being able to get in, right? If they can't get in, then everything else is, if you've already registered, if you know where your poll site is, all of those things. But if you can't get in, then none of those things matter. And so
Absolutely.
let's talk about some projects now. What else can we look forward to from DRNY in 2024?
So last year, we spoke about how we have upgraded our website, how we've added the Recite Me tool that can provide language access to people on the spot. I mean, it is on demand for our website, which is just a phenomenal piece of technology that I don't know that we would have seen it without all the advocates pushing for this. And I think what I would like to see a big push towards is a similar utilization of ASL on websites to provide on-demand translation and interpretation. That is something that you and I have had discussions with a theater group in New York City about trying to make this happen. But I think as we're moving forward, technology is just advancing by leaps and bounds, and I think that we can. I look forward to working with our friend John Robinson and at Our Ability and his context, but to how we can explore this more and how AI can actually be used to provide more access to our clients.
It's amazing when I think about even 5 years ago, what was available versus what is available now. And maybe there was a time where I would have thought, oh, wow, I don't know that I would be able to see ASL in AI. And really, it is such a possibility. And I'm excited that DRNY is really looking at these things in such a critical way to make sure that not only to find them if they're available, but to be a part of the process if we can be.
Well, I'm hoping, Katrin, you and I are going to have some interesting meetings during this year. And, at the end of next year, when we do this podcast again for looking back on 2024, I hope that we can talk about advancements that have occurred, in this area.
I hope so too, and I'm looking forward to it. Of course, I'm not looking forward to the year going by that quickly. However, you and I will be sitting here in 11 months saying, I can't believe that another year has gone by. But I do look forward to it. I look forward to all of the new things that we'll see from DRNY in 2024. Tim, thank you so much for your time today. I love kicking off the year with you and really finding out what's going on.
Absolutely, Katrin. I really appreciate being here with you. So you have a great day.
You too. Empire State of Rights has been brought to you by Disability Rights New York, your source for disability rights and advocacy. If you enjoyed our program, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this post. The video for this episode is available on our YouTube channel with closed captioning and ASL interpretation. If there is a subject you would like us to discuss, please email podcast@drny.org or comment below. For more Empire State of Rights, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.